Welcome back to Sports on Tap. I'm your host, James Laney, with my co-host, Kyle Johnson.
How we doing?
Just going to be us today. But once again, before we get started, just going to have to remind you folks that we are on YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, all of them. You name it, we got it. Please share, like, follow, subscribe, tell your friends about us. We'd love them to watch us. You know what's also weird? There's another player in another league who's pretty underappreciated right now.
He's not getting any credit right now.
No credit, and people are like, who is this guy? Who is this no-name guy that we're talking
bullshit.
about? This guy was the most hyped-up player coming out of college since Anthony Davis / LeBron, and I know LeBron didn't go to college. Zion Williamson is living up to the hype, and no one's talking about it anymore, because when he was getting drafted in his rookie year, that's all I saw on my feed. Not complaining, because he's a beast, but I don't know if it's in the image.
It's it's 100%.
But, like, this, I don't know if you have the numbers up, but he's literally living up to all the hype. He's shooting at, 58% or something like that?
60.
60%.
He is leading the league in field goal percentage, and it's not even close.
But why is no one talking about him? Why?
He's leading the league in points in the paint at, 18. He's shooting 600% from the field. He's averaging 24 points a game, 7 rebounds, 3 assists. I don't even know how many blocks.
I wouldn't mind seeing the rebounds go up a little more, but that's just, once again, this is this guy's second year.
He's 40 games into his career. Jason Tatum wasn't here 40 games into his career.
Oh, no, I know.
There are a lot of people. Jaylen Brown wasn't 40 games into his... he wasn't doing this. Nobody was doing this.
Yeah, don't be wrong. His second year in, this is also just me being like...
Giannis wasn't doing this.
I also am just like, I realized who Zion was coming in, so I'm going to be a little harder on him because, this dude is one of the strongest players in the NBA, and he's, 20?
Yeah.
20 years old and one of the strongest players in the NBA.
The big thing people are getting him for is his defense, which is kind of BS because I understand he doesn't have the quickest step. A lot of the smaller guards can blow right past him, but he's a big body. He's working on his closeouts.
It's his second year.
It's his second year. He has so much room to develop. That's one of the reasons I said the Pelicans were such a sleeper team this year is because I thought Zion Williamson would be in the MVP conversation, which...
I wouldn't say he's there.
No, he's not, but I thought he would be. I really thought he was going to progress a lot farther.
Also, the season is still young.
Well, that's another thing, too. I just don't understand. If they were winning, I think a lot more people would be focused on them.
What's their record?
I don't know. But their chemistry, they're going to be a middle-of-the-pack team. Their chemistry is just off, though. I know Eric Bledsoe and Lonzo Ball are taking, a lot of shots. Steven Adams seems to kind of almost get in the way half the time.
Well, I can kind of get that because Zion has been used to usually being the biggest guy on his team, and now you have Steven Adams. It's how do you play that together?
If you don't run a screen with Steven Adams and just get him pick and rolling to the basket, and you can't do that every possession. This is the NBA. Teams will learn how to guard it.
There was my phone.
That was smooth.
They're 11-13.
Yeah.
The thing that blows my mind because he is playing unbelievable. Personally, his team's doing mediocre.
He's averaging 24 points on 600% shooting. That is disgusting.
But why is no one talking about him? I just do not understand it. Don't get me wrong. There's a lot of other great players Steph's playing out of his mind. LeBron's LeBron. It hardened to the Nets. You're going to be talking about all that. But why is no one talking about Zion? Is because there's nothing going on at home where it's he's being distracted. It's no outside sources. There's nothing going on outside the court. There's nothing going on the court wrong. Everybody loves this kid, but why is no one talking about him? Because even Colin Cowherd said, when he was coming into the league and whatnot, this kid has the charisma, to be the face of the league. And I'm not saying he is that yet, which he could be one day, but he has that charisma where it's
he's still making ridiculous dunks. He's making crazy play.
But he has everything to... He's someone you'd want to cover because... And I know I just said it 5 times, but the charisma, the athletic ability,
he also cut back on his weight.
Well, the different style body, the different style of play. The closest analysis they had to him was Charles Barkley, but Charles Barkley couldn't even jump. Are you kidding me?
No.
This is what I'm getting at. It's just... He's checking all the boxes. He is doing... And to a smaller extent, but people loved following Jordan because he was dominant and all this and that. And I'm not trying to compare him to Michael Jordan, but Jordan had the charisma. He was that nice kid when he came in. He was playing unbelievable, and everybody was all over Jordan. But why is, especially in today's world, you'd think everyone would be all over Zion?
I think so. There's a lot of young, exciting talent in the NBA. Just on his team alone, like Brandon Ingram is no slouch by any means. Like
even Trae Young,
23. Yeah, Trae Young's another good one. Luka, like there's a lot of people who
I haven't even heard a lot of Luka. Do you think it's maybe the NBA? They realize they have all this young talent, but that's for the next 20 years, where it's like, let's cover the older guys like LeBron, and they're covering like the good older guys. Like let's cover Steph, LeBron. Even Giannis hasn't been that loud this year, but let's cover the older generation, like Kevin Durant, the Kyries, the James Hardens. Like let's cover this because there is only so much screen time. I get that, and there's only so much to talk about in a day. So it's like let's talk about our older guys who we don't have as long for. This is from a business standpoint, who meet this criteria, and then when these guys get even better, once they kind of fill those places, you know what I mean?
Yeah, kind of.
I'm just trying to come up with ideas because you have, like we've said in past shows, the NBA has some of the best young talent, like volume-wise and quality-wise, compared to a lot of the other leagues, or most of the leagues. It's
even the worst player in the NBA is like something to watch. I guarantee you he's the best player on his college team. I guarantee you he's the best player on his high school team. Like, even though literally dead last in the league, like G League players are something to watch.
It's just
like the talent in the league is phenomenal.
So this is
I just don't get where we went from only talking about Zion last year to I have heard his name like twice.
That's what I just do not understand.
Which is disgusting.
Because I'm going with my theory that they're trying to cover the older generation, and it's like, oh, who's really competing? But even
you know what? Maybe
I don't think that's a ridiculous theory. I think it's an idea.
Well, now that I'm thinking about it, actually, too, maybe it's because he's not either exceeding or underperforming his expectations. Maybe it's because he's like literally right on. Like, oh, this is Zion. This is what he does. It's like when you see Giannis play at this point, or Kevin Durant. You know, Kevin Durant puts up 35 and 5. You're just like, all right,
that's Kevin.
There you go. Like,
I also think part of it might be his team is 11 and 13, and in the Western Conference,
their chemistries look like. I know they got to work on getting Zion a little bit more volume. I think too, because he's not shooting a ton either. He's not like he doesn't bring the ball up the floor. Yeah, well, Eric Bledsoe and Lonzo Ball, I think, are creating a lot of problems. At least get Bledsoe out of there. I know you traded for him, but I understand it from a defensive standpoint, I guess, but.
Maybe Drew Holiday played a bigger role than we thought. Not that big, but maybe they'd be 13 and 11.
Hey, the Celtics are.
What?
The Celtics are. Yeah, we've not been playing. We've won the last couple, but
I know last night they played well. But with Zion, it's I don't know. My thing is, it's really weird because I know there's a lot of young talent, but like the fact is, this kid was literally as hyped up as like Anthony Davis coming out of college.